All right, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about what the Chicago Bears should do with the ninth overall pick in this year's draft. But before we get into it, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. Let's get right into it. So when I think about the Chicago Bears, we know what direction they're headed with, regarding the first overall pick. That part is not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is how can you build around Caleb Williams? How can you finally compete with Green Bay? How can you compete with Minnesota? How can you compete with a resurgent Detroit? Because their division is going to be really tough. And now the job of Ryan Poles is to build a team that can go toe-to-toe in those tough games in December and January with the rest of the NFC, and how you are going to beat teams like the 49ers and the Eagles and the Cowboys. I mean, maybe not deep into the playoffs, but you know what I mean. So Poles has stated that he does not believe that this is a deep draft because a lot of college players return to school. He also traded their fourth and fifth picks for veteran players in the first place, and he and Eberflus have also said that they are excited to add at least one player they have rated a blue chip player at 9 because they know at least one of the highly rated players they have will be available. And they have 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks over the next 2 drafts, and it doesn't make sense to trade away a chance at a blue chip prospect to secure an extra second or later picks when Ryan Poles doesn't believe the prospects in this draft are very good. And if you were a team like the Rams, Chiefs, or Ravens who were really good at hitting it on your late round picks, then I would probably suggest keeping them. But the Bears drafting under Poles is still a rather unknown commodity. I mean, he's done a great job so far, but besides the Velus Jones pick, that's the only one I can say was a bit of a strange one. But regarding Ryan Poles and what he has built so far, we don't know how good of a drafter he is. We don't know, what he's trying to build. We don't know his overall philosophy. We don't have a big enough sample size. But between either a wide receiver or an edge, I'm sure there will be somebody worth the ninth pick for Chicago. So I think the number one thing that Chicago should look for in this pick at ninth overall, it's not O-line, it's not wide receiver, it's edge. Looking at their picks, they probably have to build on the defensive line. Yeah, you have guys like Keenan Allen. Yeah, you have guys like DJ Moore. And adding a third piece, that would be fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic for the Chicago Bears. But at the same time, regarding why they're not considering Brock Bowers, they already have Cole Kmet on the roster. And they also made Gerald Everett one of the highest paid backup tight ends in the league. So the only real avenue I think Chicago really has to go in this draft is edge. And luckily there's some good edge rushers. There's some good edge rushers where you can look at and you'd be like, yeah, they're worth the ninth overall pick. Specifically, there's 2 I want to hone in on. I am not a fan of Dallas Turner. I shouldn't say I'm not a fan of Dallas Turner, but I definitely wouldn't take him at ninth overall. I just don't think he's worth it, especially over guys like Latu and Verse. But there are also better players on the interior in this draft, towards the backside. But what we should do is take a look at next year's defensive end class and compare it to this one. Those guys are absolute studs, and Ryan Poles has to be thinking about that because scouting is a multi-year commodity. Is when it comes to NFL organizations, and if all MHJ, Neighbors, or Odunze are there, yes, you take them because Odunze is top 5 pick value at 9, whereas the best defensive end is a good top 15 pick, not top 5. But regardless, I think edge is the most likely second pick in the first round because they already have a solid tackle in Braxton Jones, and they already have Tevin Jenkins. So the question is, do you want to fortify your line? Because both your guards missed time last year, and I remember they signed the center from the Rams, so that probably rules center out of the equation. But at the same time, they definitely need a D-line starter to take the pressure off of Sweat. They're in a pretty good, but also, there's an embarrassment of riches that is going to follow them at 9. And it's absolutely incredible what Ryan Poles has put into position for his franchise to do. If Odunze is there waiting for them at 9, I mean, the question is, are you going to trade down? Because you can get quality wide receivers in the second, third, or even fourth round, but at the same time, none of them are probably going to have the impact that Rome Odunze does. And regarding what their defensive line is, Walker, Billings, Dexter, and Sweat. And you have TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds and Sanborn in the front seven as well. But at the same time, this needs improvement. This should be a focal point of the Bears to improve. Because the way the modern NFL is headed, defense is the big trend. And more specifically, the ability to defend the pass. Now, I know that defense has always been a thing in the NFL. But with these uber-talented, uber-freakishly athletic quarterbacks that come into the league now, how are you going to stop them? Well, the only way is beat the offensive tackle and pray that your guy can get to the quarterback as a defensive lineman before the quarterback can do anything. So, regarding Latu and Verse, I think the only two guys that should be on Chicago's board at 9 should be these two guys. Now, with Latu is still a relative unknown because of the medicals, and we don't know how that's going to impact his draft stock, but I really like this player. He's a really talented guy. Not uber athletic, but his tape is amazing, and do yourself a favor and watch him play against Caleb Williams if you are a Bears fan, because I know that Caleb Williams would also probably be happy that he doesn't have to match up against that guy after what he did to USC this year. And Jared Verse is also a very stout player, very complete. Really like what I've seen from him. Not really a fan of Dallas Turner, only think he has one move, only think he has a bull rush, and he's very underdeveloped and took some unacceptable penalties. So I would try to look elsewhere at 9. But the Chicago Bears have an embarrassment of riches, and I'm really excited to see what happens from the Bears' point of view. So that's it for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.